You know what? This was both like the wrong tone and a reference that a lot of people probably won't get who are listening. But the thing that popped into my head that I wanted to say was, "Welcome back, stupid Ashen Ones. You'll watch anything. Go ahead, change to a more competent streamer. You'll be back." Which is a reference to Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which is a show that I would say if you haven't seen, you should watch. But it's one of those shows that's in like a weird limbo state where I'm not 100% sure there is a legitimate way to watch it if you want. But mm. Oh, nice. That's actually amazing. A lot of the time, it's music that the license ran out for. A lot of the time, not all the time. Sure. Mm. There is actually a reason, but finish the thought and I'll explain. It's almost like the weirdest thing about Song of the South is you could, and it's almost weird that Disney hasn't, just replace all the live action stuff, all the like explicitly Uncle Remusy stuff, and then you would be left with these delightful animated sequences that are merely implicitly Uncle Remusy. I guess the thing about it though is it does have a lot of that cool blended stuff like Mary Poppins, where it's like an actor with animation on this. Like that's part of what's good about it. Part of what's bad about it is which characters they have chosen to depict in that way. What do you so expound? So here's where my head's at. If I were to say, you know what, I kind of enjoy Uncle Remus, I would feel shitty about saying that in public, but that's because I am a white man. And I think that distinction is actually completely fine. So expound on what you find charming about Uncle Remus if you can. I'm at the top of the ladder, by the way, in Lothric Castle. If we want to, this is literally a question of like which way we turn, right? Do we lose anything by doing it in one order or the other? Let's then. We are. I will say this. Yeah, that in the Ring City. So I think let's do the castle, and then let's come back because we're pretty close to the area in Dark Souls 2 in that playthrough that is somewhat equivalent to Archdragon Peak, and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts once you can make the comparison. So for now, let's do the main castle route. And oh, that's not great. Let me look into that. Because seeing the stream is somewhat the point. Let's see if this is an issue with Restream or my hardware or my moral character. Then we'll get back to Uncle Remus. Wow, I have a lot of tabs open when I'm figuring out what I'm going to ask the next guest. So I see it on Restream. What happens if I go to YouTube directly? You might want to refresh because I'm seeing it on YouTube. Wah. Groovy. It grooves. It grooves. Okay, cool. That's good, mainly just because I thought, like, I identified, 7 things wrong with how I was streaming before and 11 herbs and spices, and I thought I had addressed them all. And I should mention, I'm really coming in hot with the esoteric references this morning. 11 herbs and spices used to be KFC's marketing campaign. They still do. I think like if you go to their Twitter, they follow exactly 11 accounts, or like there are weird references to it. And then I said something else that was in the esoteric reference vein, and I really don't. I already forgot what it was. Dang. Oh well, we'll see what it was on the tape. Where can I summon you? Okay. Is it like through the doorway or in this hallway? Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, well then I won't summon you. Just the Red Eye Knight there. So this is something else I will say for longtime series fans. Specific Red Eye Knights, one specific Red Eye Knight in the first area, the first real area of Demon Souls. Truly the stuff of nightmares. Because I think because he is actually quite hard, but also because at that point, I don't think people really knew what these games were, or I don't think these games knew what they were yet even. So like it was just such a shock to find like a rank and file enemy who would just completely wreck your entire way of being in that kind of terrible way. All right, so once I've summoned you, I'm going to ask you to explain the eternal appeal of Uncle Remus. Aw. Ooh, I died. I was trying to parry the Red Eye Knight, and what happened was he killed me. So let's do that. Let's do our cool summon again. It ain't just you having trouble with this guy. All right, cool. Oh, they stay permadead. That's right, yeah. Oh, he's dead in your shard, yeah. I have acquired understanding. Mm. Mm. I think you're literally about to explain why. So yeah, we can slap a slap a content warning on the video, and this is a safe place to talk about this shit. Please continue. Mm-hmm. 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 Ooh. This night. Yeah. Mm. Mm-mm. Well, like Sambo is like an image she uses a lot. Trock. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the line, but she invokes Sambo, which for those who don't know is another Uncle Remus story, right? In oh my god, doing these in the morning and then making references. I tell you what, the like the kind of like hardest rap track on Dirty Computer, which is called oh my god, man. Whoop, whoop. Django Jane. That's the name of the song I'm thinking of. You might be Iggy'n. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, bro. Yeah. So like, is it literally just that like this was appealing to a lot of people, and you get the appeal? So it's not even of historical interest. Like just on a personal aesthetic level, you find it. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is not an academic interest you have. You're not trying to like defend it intellectually. Even it's just like this is like deep down you get the appeal. You not even you get it. You feel it. Mm. No, maybe not. Unlike two, my God. You're saying they're yeah, yeah. No, I understand. Well, mm-hmm. Right there, I should say we should say like there's two references to add in. Right, one would be that a lot of younger folks feel the same way about the word queer. That it is that like it is an unreclaimable slur. Right, not that those two words are equivalent at all in history, but there's a similar like no go to them in online discourse. And I should say the ER versus A thing you're describing is literally a debate in linguistics. Um, yeah, I mean, because they're just gonna Iggy anyway, so we may as well just like pick our. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's this linguist named John Mc. Ooh, There's this linguist named John McWhorter who gets a lot of shit in certain circles. And there are things to give John McWhorter shit about. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I stand with House McWhorter. But the interesting thing that he said in this context is that those actually are two different words, linguistically speaking. They're obviously closely etymologically related, but one is an obvious slur. Yeah. One is obviously a slur, and the other one, again, linguistically, can, like, in terms of structure. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. In terms of structure, the version that ends with an A is a lot more like the word buddy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a direct address for people within an in-group, etc. Okay, well. And then the third point I wanted to get out, there was an item back here, but I did get it. Oh, you mean up here, up top? Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So the reason Whoopi Goldberg would host those things is that she collects like blackface memorabilia. There's a yeah. No, and I think like she's been asked a bunch of times why, and it's she's just like I yeah. Yeah. Which yeah, no, of course. No, this is your this is your train. I'm just like when we stop at a depot, I'm resupplying. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Our dude seems to have almost got him. Almost got him. Oh, he's running. He's running. See if you can finish him off. Nope, he's dead. He's healing. Yeah, I had the same issue. That's why. It's, wait, where are you hiding? Mm. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who it was who was interviewing Whoopi Goldberg about her collection, and yeah. There's actually an item over here, so I'm just gonna grab it real quick. Um, cool. Yeah, I can't think. Running Phantom, running from the Nice Boys. Oh, so you're just gonna let some full hollows do your dirty work? Yeah, I figured. He's he's not as clever as he thinks he is. Oh yeah, the bonfire. Can't light it. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, that's what the but that effect sure is handy. This is what the jailers were using in the previous section. Dear listener, dear viewer. He definitely thinks that, yeah. He's not as right as he thinks he is, yeah. I didn't. I guess the dragon can just hit him regardless. Is the dragon technically like an environmental hazard as opposed to an enemy? Big amount of seeds. I was bringing up that she does collect that stuff. She was getting interviewed by somebody or other about it. I can't think who. And the interviewer said something along the lines of like, so this is like a catalog of things that the culture did to hurt us as black people. I think it was a black interviewer. And she was like, no, I don't even think it's that deep. I just think they thought it was funny. And like that is itself a thing kind of worth remembering, you know, and I take her point, right, which is like an individual person enjoying minstrelsy was not thinking I'm really sticking it to that community. Like they were just laughing because like comedy is based in shared assumptions, and those shared assumptions in that case were rather racist. Like that's kind of all there is to it. And I get what you're saying, like because the thing that makes Uncle Remus appealing and I can't, I have a hard time getting there to enjoying it. Nice. The thing that makes it appealing is the same thing that makes it insidious, which is there is this like innocence to it, right? Like it's supposed to be depicting antebellum life as kind of innocent and bucolic and wholesome. And that's obviously, and you know, it's bad politically for the same reasons Gone with the Wind is bad politically, right? Like it's romanticizing a thing that ought not to be romanticized. But that also means that a lot of the material itself is actually kind of bucolic and wholesome, you know. In the case of Uncle Remus, I mean, Gone with the Wind is just trash. Oh no, not the stupids. We'll see how this goes. Wait, did I get what happened there? I just got I just got blood lost. I'm alive. It's not going great. I'm gonna give up trying to parry this guy. The timing is just a little too weird. I can't buff anymore. Hey, buddy. He doesn't know what I'm doing. I've officially, I have engaged in psychological warfare with this guy quite successfully. Yeah, he's still iggying even now at this late hour. Even now at the end. There's got to be easier ways, bro. Just like, what is fun about this? What feels good about what he's doing? Um, I guess. I mean, we've talked about the value of playing games wrong. I guess. I mean, that's an argument against the invasion covenants, like as a design thing. That you know, whether or not the mechanics should be in there, just the play conditioning, the idea that like this is a more effective way to play the game, and it's also a vastly less interesting way to play the game. Yeah, no, I know. I for a moment because of the dragon, I forgot that there wasn't a seed of the giant tree, so that wasn't as smart a thing for me to do as I thought it was going to be. I mean, like I understand that in somewhere in your head, it's like okay, you have to know the level, you know, in order to do what he just did, for example. I mean, I mean, yeah, dude. Oh! I thought the doorway was there. God, don't see it yet. I thought I heard it though. No, we just didn't kill him. Yep. Oh my. keep trying to run with L3 because I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. So it's outside where I just was? Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah. Did that count or not? Yeah, okay, there we go. The whole situation, yeah. I guess, yeah. Yeah, so now he runs down to where the Outrider Knight is. And dude's right behind us, by the way. Yeah. I'm out of heals, so there's limited... I may not survive the... Thanks, dude. I think you're right about that. So we're going to that door right across the way, to be clear, yeah? Oh, I might have one of those. It's going to keep... Iggy might be able to sneak up on me while I put it on, though. I'm looking. I think no. Blood bite, deep ring, curse bite, poison bite. I think I don't have one. I mean, I got the ring of favor, but nothing resistance related. Let's try it. We're not that far away from the bonfire. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna wait for the next cycle. Whoop. Okay. Love it. He died. That really couldn't have gone better in some ways. With very little reference to the people he was ostensibly fighting and a whole lot of reference to environmental nonsense. Yes. Oh, I got some Estus back when he died. That's pleasant. Oh, well, let me add one thing about Lauren, because you brought up my wife, who is an activist and is a cool person and thinks about this stuff a lot. My waifu, is she my waifu if she's my actual wife? Is that okay? That's true. Oh yeah. Yep. Did. Oh, I was expecting it to stagger him like the first time. Mm-hmm. I might pop on a ring of sacrifice because does that keep my blob alive? Okay, cool. Just because there's a lot of souls out there at the moment. This has been like 3 bonfires. Yeah. No, the other thing I was gonna add was like Lauren. Lauren has a slogan she says every so often. She didn't invent it, but it's become an important thing for her. I am, by the way. I mean, you know which bonfire I'm at. The one right by the dragon. Um. Yeah. No. The slogan is "fuck your respectability politics." Yeah. Um. Yeah, because for those who are not familiar, I mean, I realize for those who are not familiar, we haven't actually explained who or what Uncle Remus is. But we'll get back to that. Respectability politics is the idea that you need to put on a suit, appear calm and reasonable to the people that you're petitioning if you're going to try and make social progress. And yeah, exactly. And in point of historical fact, doing that and not doing that are sort of two sides of the same coin. You sort of do need people to like put on a suit and sit before Congress, but you also need people to be in the streets and nice. And each is more effective because of the other in terms of like if you look at, for example, the civil rights movement, right? I think there's room for both. To insist that there is one universally correct way to protest is to tell this really silly version of history where like people in power just didn't realize that they were being unfair to marginalized groups, and they were like, "Oh, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We should fix that." Right? And like that has never happened at any point in history. I'm sorry, I haven't been watching enough movies, I guess. The other thing is if I had been there then, I would have been one of the good white people. Yeah, these guys, I forgot how quick these guys frenzy. Like they're just rank and file enemies, but they still like it's that classic Souls thing. They just like they yeah, they'll mess you up. Yep. Yep. It's a beautiful thing. Where's your sign? Oh. It's not ideal. Yeah, the protest the right way thing, man. What's crazy to me is like my temptation is to say you can only think that if you don't know anything about protests. But I hear it from people who like yeah, like who were around for the civil rights movement or Stonewall. Like weren't necessarily at Stonewall, but like remember that part of that movement, Like not just from a history book, but from knowing people who were there or hearing about it at the time or. Okay. I mean, we should say if we're articulating a political theory that doesn't work, which is the people in power feel bad, so they fix a thing the oopsie they'd meant to fix before and just didn't think of it. We should put forth a right, exactly. We should put forth a theory of how it actually works, which is people in power, you know, get scared that they're going to lose their power or perhaps get their heads cut off unless they give something to a marginalized group. That's how change happens. Like, I would love it to be otherwise, but that's kind of what history shows. Yeah. That's what democracy is trying to make that have to happen less often. You know what I mean? Yeah. It still has to happen sometimes, unfortunately. Right. Right. I must have believed some outrageous leftist propaganda because I feel like I heard an MLK quote from outside of that one speech where he said a riot is the language of the unheard. Yeah, he actually. I'm being facetious because we pretend I have a dream is all that happened. He did say that. He might have said the voice of the unheard, but yeah, I'm that. Oh, for sure. Oh my God, yeah. Specific. Crystal Lazard. Oh, that was a whiff on my part. There we go. Three twinkling. That'll do. Should we get the Outrider Knight? Okay. Huzzah for bait. Oh yeah, the Irithil Rapier. Man, that'd be great for my Dark Souls 2 character. If only. Oh yeah, this chest. Z's chased. Oh, I sure as shooting did. Wow. And then they would cackle. Oh, how they would laugh. Mm-hmm. One, this notion that it is better to say some bullshit with confidence than to hedge or say, well, I'm not sure about this, or I need to look that up. The idea that like the aesthetics of knowing stuff are more important than what you actually, or forget what you know, are more important than the truth, right? I did do the thing. Like this is how you get Trump, you know. I was there's a really good podcast called Slow Burn. The first season was about the Nixon impeachment. The second season was about the Clinton impeachment, and then they just went completely off the rails, and it became just like so. Like it's any story now that would have felt very different. Whoa, if you were hearing it at the time, like all the little side stories that get lost. Like if the stuff the way it was reported at the time was very different than the way the historical record recalls it. So like season 3 were the deaths of Biggie and Tupac. All that to say, season 4 is about David Duke and him running for various office. Ooh, I do too. Actually, I have heard very good things. Um, that's a good turn of phrase. I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Restraint, nuance. Yeah. Mm. Do we know what? Not that he was a bad director before. You're right, but he did this very specific. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yes, yes, yeah. That's yeah, yeah, yeah. You wouldn't know from his early work that he had that much range. That's totally true. Yeah. Also, in his case, it's a damn good trick. Like that's the other thing that film school nerds would say that the Brechtian aspects of his early work, Do the Right Thing in particular, where it's like the same way that in a Brecht play, you're not supposed to be able to stop thinking about the fact that you're watching a play. You can't forget that Do the Right Thing is a movie because it's got this like heightened color palette and also some of the literal techniques Brecht used, like characters directly addressing you to make you. Yup. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great moment. Sure looks like we're doing it. Yeah, I don't know if you're that familiar with Brecht. Like, doesn't get done a whole lot. Yeah, I mean the idea is like, dang, is this a Brecht quote or is it just someone from the same movement? But basically the idea is like there. I know, right? What a fake theater boy. It's like fake geek girl, I guess. I mean, and which side note, there are way more fake geek boys than fake geek girls in my experience. There's that really great. Is it a Hard Times headline? Like world's biggest Earthbound fan excited to finally play it. Um, but Brecht, I think this was Brecht. If it wasn't, I'll look it up and mention it in a future thing. But there are like different ways of. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. That's really important. It is genuinely weird to me how many adult men think that you're like giving up something very important by apologizing. It's crazy. That's really important. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, completely. Maybe even have the ghost of a take, but your take is inevitably going to be bits and pieces of other people's takes because you haven't given yourself a chance to. Yeah. No, totally. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Yeah, I got hit too. I'm gonna buff real quick. I'm going in. Yeah. Okay, so it was either Brecht or someone in the same aesthetic movement, but the idea was that there are different ways of engaging with the character, and some are more passive or more like I guess politically immoral than others. So it's like if you're outraged because you feel like the sufferings of the man you're seeing on stage are inevitable, then that actually sucks. You know what I mean? You should be outraged because you think the sufferings of the man you're seeing are unnecessary. That's the correct way to use empathy or something like it. I think there might have been a different word than empathy. To engage a person not just about the story they're watching, but about the world. I think Spike Lee is really good at that. And one way to do that is again to make not allow you to forget that you're engaging with a piece of media. Like weirdly, by making the abstraction apparent, you can actually engage people more in some ways. Yeah, yeah. Totally, yeah. That's really important too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think again, like we people want to make art factional so much to the point that it's like to me, it isn't a question of whether I agree with Martin Scorsese's take on Marvel movies. To me, it is interesting knowing what Martin Scorsese has made. That is what Martin Scorsese thinks about Marvel movies. Like that is just yeah. That's that makes sense, and that makes my understanding of both things richer. You know what I mean? Like it's weird to me that the reaction wouldn't be that. I'm aware that I come from maybe a more not like a more academic background, but a more academic mindset in some ways, right? Like a yeah, yeah. Right. I mean, I'm thinking a snobby thing, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Cards on the table. I don't think Joker could possibly have been as rapturously received as it was if more people had seen The King of Comedy. Uh, yeah, but that's so wild. Like to mash up the thing and the thing it's based on. It'd be like it's like we're doing it. I did a supercut showing all the things that Romeo and Juliet has in common with Pyramus and Thisbe. But no, but that's already in the text. Like that's a huge part of the text. Like no, no. Maybe you never figured out why you were making the movie. Ugh, woof. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm alive somehow. All right, I'm gonna make a run for it, even though I'm low on health. Am I? Oh no. What door? Not over here? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. Not useless, just occasionally confusing. Okay. Ooh, now we're good. Where's your soapstone, Mang? Yeah, no, that's fine. We achieved the main goal. Stabbed you in the foot. Oh, there's your sign. Don't know if I got it or not. I didn't, but now I did. No, but I got hit. Say it. Is there a game where you can forget you're playing a game? Kojima. Because the ending of Death Stranding is almost the length of a short feature film, and it's mostly non-interactive. I mean, it's not though. That's the thing with Kojima. But anyway, that's Kojima's a weirder example than most people give it credit for. But I take your point, right? Aside from cutscenes where you essentially aren't playing for bursts, is there a game where you can forget you're playing a game? Um, Maybe in kind of a weird way. Um, bro at last. I am a bro at last. Hurrah! I got the praise gesture. Let me set that real quick here. Let's do a little praise. What can I lose? If I have jump for joy, I don't also need joy. That's just silly. How much joy am I gonna have that is distinct from praising? Um, so like there is the notion. I'm just gonna see if I missed anything here. There's the notion of flow. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept in like cognition slash game design, where it's like there's a relationship, but I'm not sharp enough right now to like make the connection directly. Because like the idea of flow in game design is if you're doing like something that's just hard enough for you, but that you are just good enough at, you enter this. I mean, I am completely out of Estus, so a reset wouldn't be a bad idea. It's been good knowing you. And I will always love you. You. Flow in game design is the idea if you're doing something that's at just the right level of difficulty and complexity for you, but that you're very fluent in, you enter the state where you're not really thinking about each individual action. They're kind of coming automatically, and you can sort of perform way better than you could otherwise. I think people first noticed this with Tetris. So, in that sense, get like simpler games, oddly enough, even though they tend to be pretty gamey, can yeah, exactly. Like you're oh yeah. Well, I can warp to a different bonfire. This was just the one that I realized I definitely knew how to get to because I still don't have the map for this one as in my head as the others. Let me just spend these souls real quick, in fact, because I got some chunks. I don't, but I will. By golly, by gosh, I will. So that's flow. I mean, it's it's related to flow in hip hop. You're quite excused. It's related to flow in hip hop, just only insofar as it's like someone with good flow in hip hop does things with language that shouldn't be possible but are. Like yeah, exactly. Like especially people who are really good at battles or what have you. Yeah, probably they're probably not making conscious decisions about like scansion and numbers of syllables and internal assonance. They develop these instincts that are very correct and impressive, and again, that's not to make it sound less intellectual than it is. It's for sure an intellectual exercise, but you're not the same way you're not thinking about the structure of a sentence while you're saying that sentence. At least not usually, and certainly not if you're having to improvise or think fast. You're not necessarily thinking about you know you're not thinking about the things that make your work interesting while you're doing the interesting things to it. at least not in a way like theory comes after. Theory explains how the thing was done. It's not actually how people do the thing generally. Okay, page 1. Aardvark. Yeah, totally. Exactly. When you think about the number of things that have to go right for a centipede just to walk, it's staggering. but the centipede ain't thinking about it, and exactly, the centipede couldn't do what it's doing if it were thinking about it, in a certain sense. Yeah, that's actually a very good way to think of it, for sure. So that's one answer to games that let you forget you're playing a game. I think for, we were talking about Naughty Dog games. I think for some people, those can do that. I think I was saying I'm sick in the head and I'm cuckoo in the coconut, and it has exactly the opposite effect for me. I find those games a little Brechtian, because like you're supposed to be acting out a part as this character, so you just you I shouldn't say you, I cannot forget that it is a game and that I am performing, Where am I doing Dragon Barracks, by the way? Yeah. Cool. In some ways. Yeah, I mean, so what do we mean by gamey? When I say Kojima's games are gamey, I mean like everything's a mechanic and everything is like reinforced mechanically, like in Death Stranding. I mean, his most recent games I'm thinking of most especially. But like, there's a there's a mechanic for peeing, and where a lot of players pee, mushrooms will grow, and there's a mechanic for catching rain and turning it into Monster Energy drink, and there's a mechanic. It's great, but it's like, what's weird about that isn't just that there are long cutscenes or that it has like cinematic affectations, or that the guy who directed Drive got body scanned and someone is performing in his body as a character, like, or Guillermo del Toro as well. Like, those things are all weird, but what's also weird about the game is just how systemic, how gamey it is. Like the currency of the world is likes. Like there's some shit there. So that's how gamey are Naughty Dog's games. I think you're right that they're gamey in some ways. There's a lot of like, oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, like they do a lot to try and draw your attention away from their gaminess, but they are pretty gamey, right? Like there's a lot of like inventory management and upgrades and crafting in The Last of Us, right? Like oh, that's an Undead Bone Shard. Thank you for directing me to that. Yeah, there are two items. There's one more, but I doubt it's anything. Well, whatever. We're here. So, are there games that make you feel like you're not playing the game? Okay, gotcha. Do streams in the morning. They said it'll be great. They said. Sure. Oh yeah. I don't. Yeah. Everything old is new again, because I guess that's what a lot of streams are. But yeah, sure. Albeit your friend is the best. Now your friend is a person you don't know who's the best Mario Brothers 3 player in the world. But yeah, sure. It all comes full circle. Oop. This is Mass Effect 2. You said sorry. Yeah. It just waited for him. That's stunning. Hmm. Right. And it's, yeah. I missed one item, real quick. I missed one item up there. Is that anything unmissable? Just up on that first level, right above us. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what were you saying about Mass Effect? The good, the bad, the ugly. Norwood. Oh, that's some explosions. Oh, hey Norwood. I mean, this is pretty good Mad Phantom behavior. He's introducing some chaos. Now we will deal with him. He's a Mad Phantom. He could attack at any moment. He's Iggying, but I don't know to where. Well, that's that. Pour one out for Norwood. Your answer is fuck no. So that's an interesting one. The example of the mass, because you've never told me that story, and that's incredible. And I, oh my god, that's so good. But it's like, yes. Urgent decision, 10 hours. Yeah. It's one level down from here. So, oh, I see. Yes, 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 yes. That sure sounds like something I would somehow do. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, like in one sense, that is like a narrow design problem with a clear solution. You just add the fuse, like Telltale games have. And a lot of games do this now, where like if it is an urgent dialogue choice, you only have like a. It's still way longer than you would have in real life to answer that question, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I've this on my mind because I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and it has that, but only occasionally. There's actually very very few. Like the only time you get dialogue options in the game is when it's that. When you have like there are two ways you could react to something, and you have 5 seconds or whatever to pick. Otherwise, it's all pre-scripted. Your dude says what he says, and it's like the game is full of little things like that where it's like you've been playing 5 or 6 hours before you have a dialogue option. So when it comes up, it's actually kind of a cool moment. I think they intend. I mean, and who knows whether it's intentional, but it's like the opening, like it's the story of a dude questioning whether his code is gonna get done what he needs to get done. Yes, I sure don't see it. So maybe she didn't. Oh, I didn't do the thing with Hodrick in the where we fought the cursed Greatwood. Is that? Do I have to do that first? Got it. Got it. Got it. No, she just like said she had my back. We can just do Aegon for now, and then we'll go. If you're saying Cirrus can be done afterwards, we'll do that afterwards. It is what it is. What were we saying? No, I mean I yeah, some of the like cultural encounter stuff will probably come up, but I haven't recorded this interview yet to be clear, so I don't know what we're gonna say. Maybe it'll be weird, but Yeah, no, it's a very interesting game. But yeah, I mean, so the story, the theming, the plot, the tale is about a samurai who has to bend the code of Bushido because he has to do sneaky shinobi stuff during the first Mongol invasion on the island of Tsushima. So like there are some like that has less to do with samurai and more to do with our cultural imagination of samurai, and maybe even more to do with the right-wing reclamation of Akira Kurosawa movies. The idea of like, well, Bushido is really cool because like it's so great to be honorable and old-fashioned and to love your country, but it's just a shame about all that honor stuff. Like, what if you need to just bend it a little to get stuff done? Like George W. Bush, enhanced interrogation. So there's that, but I think the game. Oop, well, you did warn me. The game is kind of blissfully unaware of all that stuff so far. Um, I mean, I don't know yet, right? Like, I'm not really at the point where, because like the reason he has to bend his code is because he's trying to rescue his uncle who's been captured by the Khan. So meanwhile, the Khan is trying to like break the uncle and make him, betray his island and work with the Mongols and blah blah blah. So without knowing where that plot line goes, it's a little tough to say what the game is saying, or what it thinks it's saying, which of course could be two different things. Um, yeah. But all that to say, it is the story of a guy, finding that the world is potentially more complicated, or that his actions need to be more complicated than he ever thought. So it's kind of cool to mechanically reinforce that with like all of his dialogue is baked in until suddenly it isn't. He suddenly realizes there are two ways he could react to something, and you have to decide. He has to decide, maybe for the first time in years, what kind of person he wants to be. Like that's pretty cool. Yep. Yeah, totally, totally, totally. Yeah, the story is ostensibly about just like, yeah, what's supposed to come off in the text as quirky behavior would be giant, like mile high red flags in real life. Isn't isn't that one of the Nicholas Sparks ones, The Notebook? Doesn't like the dude like threaten to kill himself at one point if she won't go out with him, which is like that's like the severest of severe psychologically abusive behavior. Like that's not a small thing he's doing there. Is it also a Nicholas Sparks story, the one that is sneakily about 9/11 at the end? Does that remember me? It's just a regular ass. I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. I don't know. Robert Pattinson. Yeah, it's just like a regular ass romantic comedy, but then suddenly at the end, he's on one of the planes. Is that what happens, or he's in the tower? Okay, that is just in case you didn't get it. Yeah, but you're not even talking about that. You're just talking about like the weird relationship dynamics, and this is totally a thing in kissing books, right? That like especially the alpha hero, as I believe he is called as a term of art, is acts in ways that would be bad in real life. And to be clear, that isn't like inherently a problem. Like you can totally enjoy a story about stuff happening that you wouldn't want to happen in real life. I mean, we're currently playing a game about sword fights and shit. I don't especially want to be in a life and death sword fight 5 times a day in real life. It's a pretty fun fantasy. Like a lot of, it's a lot of this stuff functions on the same level. But you're right that there's like a sense of disavowal. Like in order to enjoy it, you have to either just not care about the maybe sinister stuff boiling underneath, or be able to hold that in your head and say, I know very well, but even so, kind of thing. And to be clear, I think most people are perfectly capable of doing that, even if they're not familiar with that linguistic construction. Like people can do that. Like it's not unheard of. All right, so I'm in the Great Hollow, and I don't see nobody. Cliff. Okay. Cliff. Have we made this joke on this stream? Because we used to say it all the time. Cliff Underside, attorney at law. I feel like that's a first playthrough joke that just popped back into my head. Because when we do these, I'm so sleepy that I'm in like a fugue state. So yeah, I mean, to come back to Ghost of Tsushima, it's one of those things where like, I think that's okay. Toward the, okay, gotcha. Okay. Um. Yeah, I think maybe the game thinks it doesn't have politics. That's my concern. I don't know yet. Um. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, it should. I hope it should go without saying that a story about the Mongol invasion where the Mongols are running around talking like Klingons and they're these hyper destructive invaders is like whatever else it is, it's not apolitical. Like, oh, there you go, nice. But yeah, no, for everything that could come off as boneheaded about it, or everything that is very AAA. Like best example. I was wandering around and Lauren and I were kind of hanging out, and she was. I sort of consider it our playthrough. It's one of those things like I'm the only one with hands on the controller, but she's like making some decisions and all of that. We happened upon this really cool like this hidden like graveyard with a giant circle of purple flowers and like the like stones, and it was like this is something, right? But there was nothing we could do there. So we were like, man, I wonder if they'd. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, the only stream we've done so far together is the Animal Crossing tidying stream. You're right that we maybe should do this more. Maybe the next time we play a Yakuza game, we'll stream it, because those are definitely some of the games we always play together, even though I'm the one doing the fighty bits. Um, all that to say, we found this really cool area with purple flowers, and it was very obviously something, but we didn't know what. And there was, in fact, nothing we could do there. We touched everything. We did some weird OCD stuff, like step on every stone, just because we were curious. And then, of course, like a few hours later, it turns out there's a quest, and unless you've done the first three steps, the person who you're supposed to meet there won't show up. So like that kind of stuff honestly drives me a little nuts, because like how cool would it be if you happened upon that place early and then just like the story played out differently? Like that'd be so cool. AAA games won't allow that because whoa, friend. Okay. Well, let's try that again. I Yeah, man. The sleepiness does not always serve me well. But anyway, like AAA stuff like that, and like but for everything like that, for everything that I could get frustrated by, or like I've died a few times because a tutorial was blocking my view of the fight. And it does this thing in general where like the camera angles are very cinematic, so like there's no lock on like in Dark Souls, so it can be a little tough to tell what the hell's happening. Like for all the things like that, where I'm like, I always sarcastically mumble, I hate video games when shit like that happens. There's so many things in it that are so like clever and interesting and playful. Uh, it just nails the open world thing in a way that I like. Don't know if I felt quite this way maybe since Breath of the Wild. Like it's just like really, really satisfying to wander around this big contiguous space. There are, I mean, Breath of the Wild is the best one, but oh, I'm sorry, I was talking about Ghost of Tsushima again. Yakuza is actually a super different approach to open world because it's obviously like it's urban open world. And you know, even as compared to Grand Theft Auto, like this comparison gets made a lot. Grand Theft Auto is like a big, mostly empty city, right? Like you can't interact with most of the things in it. Yakuza is a neighborhood basically, like a what Tokyo would call a city, but Tokyo is like a city composed of many sub cities, right? Um, but it's like the hook with Yakuza is you can basically, especially by 6, you can basically go in every building in this little dense area. Um, Yeah, they're great. Well, and the coolest thing is over the course of the series, it's basically a story of this dude and his community over 30 years. Because you actually you hang out in Kamurocho. Um, you know, there's usually like, especially in the later games, there's like a secondary location, but the main location is always about the same. So you actually like you go, oh no, they moved the takoyaki place. I hope they did okay. You know what I mean? Like you actually have these kind of feelings you would have in a place that you really lived in, and it's pretty neat. Okay, sure. Okay. Cool. See you soon. TTYL. Wait, don't die yet, serious. Just checking in with some NPCs while Lucio does his thing. I mean, he's right, is the thing. So I'll say this to Lucio, but this one does some interesting stuff with who you are to these people. There's sort of this convention in From Software games where you have an NPC collection. You get more and more people to come back to the sort of main hub area. Um, but you're just kind of a helpful person making that happen usually, you know. I mean, you're the chosen undead maybe, but who are you to these people, right? They don't even necessarily know that or care. um you know, why are you the one bringing people to Majula in Dark Souls 2? Why are you the one bringing people to the church, the chapel in Bloodborne? Here there's this notion that because you are a you know, an Ashen one, you're looking to be a Lord of Cinder, you are actually sort of the lord of this manner. That, you know, like there's a sense in which these are your people. They're in your service. Um, if I'm remembering right, there's, yeah, I mean, like most of the other games, it's really just like they are, you know, merchants and tradespeople who come here. Here being wherever the main, you know, kind of hub of the game is, but it's not really the case that they serve you in the text in the way that they do here. Just on my mind, I guess, because we were talking about, you know, mechanically reinforcing things, or making stuff that is you know, part of the text make sense, you know, through mechanics, make you know, create a confluence. Can I learn any miracles? I mean, I would need to invest in some more faith for sure. I gotta rescue Carla. I should do that while Lucio's gone. She is the dark pyromancer. I believe he said that she will just wait for me. Wait for me. I'm coming. But with my luck, she'll be totally dead or something. Where is she? She was in near Yorm, right? So yeah, the profaned capital is probably the best way to get there because she's in the end of the dungeon zone. We can have some fun fights here, or no? Yeah, here we go. Oh. Okay, so you heard what I was saying. Yeah, I was just talking a little bit about. I was going to summarize this for you, but you know, the like, who the hell are you to these people that you're collecting, right? At Firelink, this game kind of has an answer to that question. But Yol is like explicitly like, you know, your your trusted advisor, your grand vizier. Yeah, exactly. He just wants Senpai to notice him. Mm. These are now plus 10, so I will probably start upgrading something else. I think I'm going to go with, I think I've decided I'm going with matched, because this class is the one that is probably the closest to, you know, the swordsman from Dark Souls 2, so the idea of doing something that evokes power stance is kind of appealing. I forgot just how many of these there are, my goodness. Oh, and it actually reduces your maximum health. Wait, so I'm just going to die immediately. Which one? The one up here? Okay. We we gonna have a fast conversation, okay? Yeah, I'll offer help. Uh huh. Great, lovely, love you, Carla. Let's just go ahead and seize the bone. Of course I didn't. What do you take me for? Someone good at video games? let's burn that shard. Burn that shard. Let's talk to Carla. Welcome her to our Leal service. Yeah, this was on my mind again because of Ghost of Tsushima. Because like, I was talking about how it works well for me from like an open world perspective, and part of that, like part of why Breath of the Wild is so good about that, is that in Breath of the Wild, the infinite distractibility of a game protagonist kind of makes sense. Like, you could famously just go fight Ganon right away if you want to, right? So everything you're doing instead is like to. By the way, dark sorceries are a little taboo, so the other pyromancer wouldn't even take this tome that I'm now giving her. But so like, it makes a little bit more sense than usual for Dark Edge. Now, is that a buff or is that? No, that's one of those like you manifest a sword. Yeah. Okay, fine for now. Anyway, yeah, so like everything you're doing is becoming stronger to fight Ganon, right? Because in fact, you can go fight Ganon the moment you step off the Great Plateau. It's just you're going to have your balls rocked. So this game takes kind of a similar approach, but like you're the lord of the island, right? So like every problem someone is putting forth to you is your problem. It is your responsibility to do all of these things, and you're also amassing allies in order to go save your uncle. And it's a little bit more AAA and structured, in the sense that you actually do have like a checklist of allies you need before you can even attempt it, I think. I haven't tried to sequence break too much, but but games that make what you're doing seem to make sense are maybe rarer than they ought to be, right? Like a lot of big games tend to be very tropey, I suppose, in what you're actually doing minute to minute, where you're not necessarily questioning why you're shooting guys in the face or why NPCs are coming to Firelink or whatever. So I always do appreciate when there is some kind of interesting justification for those things. Makes it richer. You know what? Actually, before we go on, I'm going to take a break too. So you be as witty as you want to be, or just recite lyrics or whatever. I will be a couple of minutes. what'd I miss? I didn't even do like a sit down emote. That could have been like restful ASMR, Yule log at the bonfire kind of thing. Yeah, no, that's totally a thing. We're not fancy enough currently. Pleb tier. I feel like I'm peaking a little bit this time. Am I just excited this morning? We have been improving. That might have been me, not you, though, because you were. I mean, you were a little. You were blowing it out a little on your headset mic, but now that you're on the snowball, it's pretty nice. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. And I was a little quiet, so I turned up my gain a little, but I'm trying to remember not to eat the mic, unless I'm whispering. Okay, so Dragon Slayer armor. Here we go. If I recall, this is like a very short stroll. Oh no, I don't mean the level. I mean like until the next bonfire. Is there stuff in between here? That's what I don't remember. Maybe not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the short walk. I remembered. Oh, yeah. Okay. Where's that? Oh, you mean left the way I was coming? Gotcha. Not left from the bonfire. Oh, yeah. I was reversing the camera negative, even though you had already done that work. So yeah. Anyway. All right. Yep. We'll just never see eye to eye. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do 5 my time because I don't think we're gonna do 2 your time. Yeah, no one in history's ever done that though. Where? The one I just got, you mean, or? Oh yeah. Duh. Which I was using at the beginning of this playthrough. Cheatfully. I don't see your sign. Yeah. I feel like you're right. Okay. Oh, do the signs not show up till you open the door? Yeah. I think that's what that is. I think I just had a memory of us fucking around like this and then that being the solution. Yeah. Yep. Sure enough. Yeah. Yeah, because, like, I mean, like, in the early games, sometimes you can only summon post state change. So, like, once you've drained the water from New Londo ruins, then you can summon, for example. But, like, the door being open or not doesn't strike me as that level of change to the area. So it's, I don't know if it's more. Remember when? Remember when that was a boss? The sage, you mean? Yeah. Okay, I got branded. I got branded. Well picked. The brands are more the. He poked me with a hot thing. No, they don't do that thing. I do remember that. Yeah. Got a crystal gem. Seems like an easy win. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Scholar's Candlestick. I always use this as a caster. VC Swa. It's silly. Okay. Yeah, I can tell. Got the crystal chime. Yeah, I'll take some of that sweet, sweet heal juice. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The Duke's Archives. I really enjoy that my hat disappeared. Um, yeah, well, let's. I mean, so briefly, the deal with the Duke's Archives in the first game is that Duke is life. So the Duke in question is Seath the Scaleless, who is a turncoat dragon. Who so dragon scales are what give dragons their immortality in the universe of Dark Souls, or at least of Dark Souls 1. Um, oh, the lever. I was like, I think that lizard's dead, you weirdo. Um, so Seath didn't have scales. Wasn't immortal. So he's an inventor. He comes with this crystal thing that makes him immortalish anyway. But he anyway was a turncoat, as I believe I said. Fought on the side of Gwyn against the other dragons, and so Gwyn made him a duke. And in addition to being a dragon and a duke, he went full mad scientist and started experimenting on people and peeploids. So he had this giant library called the Duke's Archives, full of monstrous experimented on, presaging bloodborne type monsters. And yeah, there's a big maze like level full of channelers and beasties and tentacle monsters and tricksy stuff, and this is a very good level. So this is structured a little like that. The Luigi's Mansion arms coming out of the bookcase definitely different. Oh, hey Ray. Yep. He's not just a tryhard, he's also an Iggy. He's running away. Well, he's coming back. What's your story, Mang? He sure does roll. Oh, right, those things. I was like, yeah, I'm dead. I just couldn't roll because there was a dude to my left. Wasn't exactly a diabolical trap. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, especially when it's a weapon that's very good in the meta, but actually isn't that fun. That's when you really know. Hmm. Whatever, man. Hmm. No. Are you inside? I ended up on the other stairs somehow. I'm coming. Yeah, I kind of wasted some time with that sage. Sorry about that. I was just sticking with my inventory. I was seeing what other matched swords I have. You're right that I don't have the Drang hammers. Forgot about this item over here. I'm gonna do that real quick. Oh yeah, that's right. Keep trying to run with L3. Well done. Watch my hat disappear. I'm telling you, it's a delight. I like to think it's like folded under there, and as soon as the wax comes off, it goes whoop, like. That's a chunk. Might even say it's a chunk. We're one so inclined. Ooh, hey ho ho. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm coming. Yeah, yeah. Sandwich. Oh, so many things around us. We did it. We done did it. We did done it. The crystal scroll. So if Yol died, is there? Does the other trainer just go back to where he was? You know what I mean? Like, is there still someone who can teach me magic? What's his name of the fold? Is that his name? Orbeck. Yeah. No, he's not of the fold. What the fuck am I even talking about? Yes, Orbeck. No, I haven't. Well, because where he shows up is where Yol shows up, right? Like in Fireland. No, maybe I. Maybe I've just been like neglecting him. We'll see if he's gone. I should maybe do the same. Oh, I still have it on from earlier, so yes. Oh, I didn't roll. Oh boy. I'll be back. Thanks. What? I thought I got that one. That's true, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Ah. Hut, hike. I made some very successful gnocchi last night. I've been fucking with gnocchi from scratch lately. It's like scandalously easy. Like I'm scandalized by it. Oh yeah, kick that ladder. I don't know if we've actually said this out loud. Oh, we're de-waxed. Do we want to re-wax? Okay, cool. Oh, nice. I have a pretty good memory for where stuff is in games. And for reasons I think we have talked about previously, this one just didn't stick as much for me. I think like I didn't have to work as hard at it. It was at a time when I was maybe souls overloaded in a good way. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I like this game a lot. But it's a cool experience for me to get led because I lead people in these games so often. Mm. The game doesn't start until pretty far into the game, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, totally. What you're describing, I mean, all things being equal, and if you have time, right? Like I've gotten into the habit of leading the dance a little more because when we play with our friend Ben, who is a doctor and has very little free time, he just kind of he does want to optimize his route a bit. Um, do you? We did burn a lot of characters. Do you remember what you were trying that didn't work those other times? Mm, mm, mm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean the other thing to remember is you've only ever played Scholar of the First Sin, and that's got to be most people's experience at this point because you can't even buy vanilla anymore. I don't think. I don't on PC. I don't think you can. Okay, maybe I'm high then. Maybe I'm high on illicit drugs. Maybe I just think that because it doesn't go on sale when the others go on sale because they want to like dissuade you. But it, yeah. But all that to say, like in some ways, Scholar of the First Sin is built for people who have already played Vanilla Dark Souls 2. Like some of the enemy placements are specifically to troll you if you know the originals. So there is an extra layer of weirdness if that's your first experience with the game. You know, not that it's a bad thing, but it's definitely. Well, I think a lot of the things that people said about Dark Souls 2 are more true of Scholar than of Vanilla. For example, that co-op is sort of mandatory, just because of the way the structures no. I think it's more the case with Scholar because they've just like in the new engine they literally just can throw more dudes at you. So there are times when they do. But it was I guess what I mean is it was already more true in Vanilla Dark Souls 2 certainly than it was in Dark Souls 1. And that makes sense, right? Like why not make co-op a little more of a thing now that co-op is possible, you know? Sure. We actually have a lot left of 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, partly what's changed is you, man. You've played more of these games, and you can hear the variation as well as the theme a little more. You know, I was dumb. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Lauren and I were talking about that line in. Have you ever seen Victor Victoria? It's a really good movie. It's a movie about a movie about a woman who like basically pretends to be the world's greatest drag queen. So it's like she lives as a man, as this count, but then does these drag performances where she hits these impossible soprano notes because she is in fact just a soprano. Um, yeah, it's the prestige of drag movies. But it's really goofy. And one of my favorite things about the screenplay that like so few movies do. I feel like there's something there, but I don't see it. Oh, I mean, I'm with you, Dr. Yang. Okay, I got him. Um, yeah, one of the things the screenplay does that I love is like say people say goofy stuff in like a self. All right, people say goofy stuff in a self-aware way, like not self-aware in the sense that they know they're in a movie, but self-aware like actual people are self-aware. So like there's a scene where this one guy goes, yeah, "Well, love is a two-way street." Why did I say that? Like, it's really good. I think it holds up pretty well. It's got Robert Preston in it, who, if you've if you've listened to any of the old musical theater that I post all the time, you've heard his voice. He was the original Harold Hill in The Music Man and the original Mac and Mabel. But at this point, he's like older and in full. He says shit like "There's nothing more depressing than an old queen with a head cold." Um, yeah, it's Julie Andrews is the. It's really really good. I think it holds. There's some jokes that are like of their time, and not all of it is aged super well. But on the whole, for a comedy that like out and out silly, I think it holds up remarkably well. I shouldn't say that. Lots of silly comedies hold up better than anything. What's up, Chaplin? But it's like of that era specifically, and when like some of the comedy is about queer folks, like it's easy for that stuff to, even with the best of intentions, sour kind of quickly. Oh, that was yeah. Exactly. Oh, right. It's not just a door. It's like okay, great. Everything's good. All is well all over the place. Ooh, mine just ran out too. Forward and comeback sounds like a plan. I mean, are we gonna run into a ton of arms? Yeah, yeah, we got to come back for the items. That's fine. Yeah, arms, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. Have you messed with the Smash Season 2 pass yet? I'm sure. I'm just. I got it. That's all. That's all fine. I don't think I knew how cursed I was getting. This is not my first Souls rodeo. Mm-hmm. No, they did a lot of work to make them feel like they came from the games they came from. So like, there's yeah, the little like weird menu based thing for the hero from Dragon Quest, and like Joker's persona stuff, and Min Min's like switching out of arms. It's all really good. Right, right. Well, even with Byleth, right? Like for all of the fire, like there's so many Fire Emblem characters in Smash that it's like a meme, and yet they've never really done a character that kind of incorporates like the counter or retaliate system from Fire Emblem until Byleth. Yeah, like so one of the quirks of Fire Emblem as like a battle system is that when you attack, your opponent gets to retaliate, and when your opponent attacks, you get to retaliate. Hmm. Okay. Okay. No, got hit. Got hit. We did. Got a heavy gem, a sharp gem, and two twinklings. No, he landed lower. He's alive. Well, now maybe. Well, if he you make a fair point. Hmm. I don't remember. I think I didn't. I think we completely forgot to do that. Yeah. I think I maybe even never let him out of the cell. I think we just like we were off and running and I forgot to do it. This is a bad run for NPCs. Okay. Oh. Oh, the crystal. Yeah. So the crystal shit is also ties this to the Duke's archives. Jeez. Jeez. You were mentioning the hidden path in this one, right? Like the original hidden path is in the Crystal Caverns in Dark Souls 1. You have to walk across a fair bit of unseeable nonsense path. Okay. Here's the problem is that Lucio is the guide on this journey, so I don't know where the hell I'm going now. I assume this way. Is that going to be a wall that I can... Nope. Man, it's amazing how much of this I don't remember. Alright, so you come out, and I get your freaking... Get the drop on you. Or prevent you getting the drop on me at the very least. This... I remember this. Which of these is the way forward? Which is the shortcut? Well, that's the wax. So I think this is where we would have gone backwards anyway. So maybe I don't know if I know where to do that without him though. Man, it's I swear I usually remember these games pretty well, but this one's just a mess in my head. Welcome back. I don't know. I don't remember where I'm going next, to be honest. Um, oh, yeah. Oh, this is where we were going to go back to. Mm-hmm. That's fun. Oh, you're alive. Not for long, though. Okay. I think so, yeah. Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Whoa, I kind of hope that the existence of Min Min in Smash revitalizes interest a little bit, because I would buy an Arms 2, or even go back to Arms 1 with, you know, renewed attention if they released some new characters or something. Hmm? Okay. Because yeah, I don't know if you're aware, because you got launch a while after Arms. I nearly said you got Arms quite a while after launch, because it was a Switch launch title. But they were really generous with post-launch DLC. Like there were only 10 characters when it started. Like, you know, Max Brass and yeah, they are. They are. My rule often with DLC is like I have no hesitation or qualms about paid DLC if there has been generous free DLC interstitially. You know what I mean? Like, or even just post-launch support of one kind or another. Because you know that means they're continuing to work on the game, so it makes some sense if you're still playing it to pay for the work they're continuing to do. Obviously, some DLC is a bit more of a an obvious cash in or what have you. Obligatory. I did, and the ladder's down, so we could just climb up there. Yeah, that's what I got. I love area. Uh, you know, it's fine. It's this. This has been a playthrough where I'm hanging out with you, and the NPCs can often kind of go hang. I feel like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably not. Suffering is what I desire. Did you mess with New Game Plus in Sekiro? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. He fell. That went well. Yeah, Sekiro feels really nice. Um, I've been thinking about replaying it. So this is an interesting thing as far as gaminess, right? Because like obviously Sekiro is by far the least Soulsborne Kiro game, the least RPG of the bunch. And I would argue even like the skill tree doesn't add much. You know, like when I think about playing it again, the main thing that stops me is remembering how much I did grind to get some of those skill tree nodes, but I maybe even didn't have to. Like maybe it doesn't matter as much as I'm remembering. You know. Content. Welcome to the content zone. Okay. Okay. There were so many enemies there I didn't even know what I was looking at. Is that like a Corvian pus of man? Like, whoa. What is even happening? Whoa, 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 I thought you were dead. Oh, I definitely thought you were dead. Ah, darn it. I mean, you'll see. Ah. Okay. Okay. Ooh, that's our boy. Where am I going? Oh my god. Mm. The sniping with the crossbow thing while I fight Corvians is like yet untold levels of Iggy. We're just gonna make a run for it. Running Ashen, running free, running Ashen, running from the mad guy. Oh hey, just you and me now, buddy. Oh, he landed on me though. Ha. Nyeh. Wait, where am I going? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if I'm right by the bonfire, then that's a good place to be, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming I'm just. God, I just don't. It's just annoying because like he has heals, I don't, because he did the snipey thing for 20 minutes. Like it's just. Yeah, whatever. I'm dead. Yeah, they're good. My household awakens. Well, hello, dogs. Hey, Pixel. Want to hang out? Want to do a stream? No, not so much. True. True. A go-getter. A trendsetter. Contraption does not move. I thought we got this one. Is this? Oh, it's the one inside. Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, Pixel. What are you doing? Why are you hiding under the coffee table? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, are they already up or are they still up? That's something I always... That's my... Yeah, I got it. And... No, I don't care. It's fine. I mean, I'm not utterly committed, but if we make it to the if you want to be my baby, the two princes, then that's fine. It's fine. If we don't, then I'll do Grey Rat before we do it. But well, then maybe I'll do it then. You are blessed. So profesh. Okay. Let us cut shortly. What up, Bowie? Looking very fluffy this morning. I'm good, but, you know, why not? We don't need it, but I just want to look good. When you look this good, you don't have to know anything. Yeah. Oh, we got some... This is kind of the... Ooh, we got some barking. Yeah, this is somewhat the guy that I've modeled myself after. But yeah, I mean, so like the closest thing in Dark Souls 1 is probably the forest defenders. But those are like... Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. There's like a caster, an axe guy, and... And that's an interesting section because it is at once very hard and a bottleneck for a lot of new players. What? I just got parried by the caster. That is humiliating. No, I'm alive. She had nothing to follow up with because she parried me with a catalyst. Like, that's 2. Thank you for putting the dogs in dog jail. How's bracing? Yeah, I was going to say, so like you were saying, like that's not an unprecedented scenario, but it is like a flag has been... So, but yeah, the weapon I've been using the whole game, folks, this is when I would have gotten it if we had not been a little bit fucky with equipment. I'm not even sure what the dogs were barking at. They just really hate that encounter, I guess. Yeah, no, they just... Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, if I want to be forced to co-op in order for it to be, doable, then I'll just play Dark Souls 2, man, says Pixel. Pixel's a purist about this stuff. Pixel thinks Demon Souls is still the best one. I mean, I get it. It's got atmosphere. It's very raw and pure and creative. But come on. There have been refinements since then. Whoop, oh boy, the elevator went back. Thrilling television. Just a guy with wax on his head riding an elevator. 10 hours. Yes. We actually got to see the moment where the hat reappeared and went whoop. There wasn't a little thwump animation, unfortunately. It just reappeared. Oh, this bit. Yeah, but is it weird to say I've been looking forward to doing this bit? Did you read that interview with Miyazaki where he talked about masochism? Yeah. No, they asked him if he was a sadist. Yeah, he was like, no, I'm a masochist. I want this done to me when I design it. Like, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think any of them are aggro. You're such an alarmist. Two of them are approaching us. For let the record show. These Bayonetta-looking motherfuckers. Not that they look like Bayonetta. They look like things Bayonetta would fight. Their heads are too humanoid, but otherwise. Okay. Good. Great. Groovy. Gravy. Here come the Wing Knights. Oh boy. Ooh, that went pretty bad pretty fast, I gotta say. Okay. I'll see if I can get the first one without Children of the World. If you want me to defeat this Wing Knight, clap your hands. Don't let Tink die. I'm Tink. Alright. What, like these games are hard? Where am I meeting you? Okay. Dementor? Oh, those are, do you want to explain what the, like, squiggly, stick dragons are? No, I guess we never really get confirmation. They're dragons. They're, like, weird, corrupted dragonoid things. Yeah. He is. He hasn't found me yet. I just wanted to get a good, clean shot of the, They have a name. They look like tree roots, but they are... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they're like corrupted dragons or because you're right. They do in fact the projectiles that were coming at us during the Dragon Slayer armor fight were from them. Ooh, that boy saw me. Gonna just roll for the rest of my life. Okay, well then yeah, I'm coming to it. Don't move it. Yeah. I don't know, like, where it's down? Yeah, I love the way those things look. Because it gives you this... The dragons. I mean, the Wing Knights are cool, too, but the dragons are just, like, so otherworldly. And it gives you that slight, like, Beowulf thing, like they are tree roots and, like, we're in the upside-down place. Like, they're a little bit... Like, yeah. I think there is the Moonlight Butterfly, that they intentionally look a bit like him, which, you know, like him, it, her. Yes, it. Yeah, I think it is agendered. But the idea of this like, okay, the idea of the idea of this like natural thing that isn't violent unless provoked, but that we still have to fuck with. Not the Wing Knights. The Wing Knights are pure violence. Oh. The Wing Knights always make me think of those memes of like how angels look in art versus how angels are in the Bible. Where it's like, I'm baby versus, 100 eyes, flaming, agender. Really just you open with that. You open with the Heaven Punisher from PSO1. Yeah, I went there with the Dreamcast references. Yeah, well played. Well played. Twast well done. Ooh. Yeah, that was a good fight. And I got a slab. I mean, I don't know. We're at the point where I might respec at Rosaria, so maybe I'll mess with some different buffs for the remainder of our playthrough. I don't know. Haven't decided. What is the gentleman's build in this, and do we care? Like, what level should I be? Okay. Mm. I remember I think I had an even 100 build for a bit. It's fine. It's fine. It's really just Destiny. Because, like, it's got that combination of there aren't mechanics for it and it's first person. Like, first person platforming, unless you build around it completely, like your Mirror's Edge or something, is a rough ride. Oh, yeah, Divine Pillars of Light. That's fun. I'm going for this item. It's a blessed gem. It's a blessed gem. Why is there a grub here? Like, lore-wise. Does that make some kind of connection between the Wing Knights and Rosaria then, or like are they reborn in some way, or like it feels like a hint about something, you know? You're absolutely right that they're associated with Rosaria's fingers, and I guess that's what would happen to you if you were reborn too many times, right? The idea of tinkering with people for power and then they become corrupted is also, I mean, like that to tie that line makes sense because like in the Duke's archives you meet those like horrible tentacle head things that were like kidnapped human girls, right? Yeah. Let's look at the item description for Divine Pillars of Light, which we just picked up. Miracle of Gertrude, the Heavenly Daughter. Brings down multiple pillars of light in vicinity. The Queen's holy maiden Gertrude was visited by an angel who revealed this tale to her. We should mention that the way miracles work in this game is you are reciting a story, and the reason it scales with faith is the more you believe in the truth of it, the more powerful the spell is. Despite losing both her sight and her voice, she was determined to record the tale. Ordinary men cannot decipher her fragmentary scrawl, nor comprehend how it became the foundation of the angelic faith of Lothric. So the angels are very associated with Lothric. There's a thing of transformation. There's also a thing of a thing about mistranslation or misinterpretation, which makes a lot of sense given the two princes. If you want to be my baby, buy me flowers. Or go ahead now. I did start singing Two Princes again because I did the last time we were here, I think. Excuse me a moment. I'm going to kiss my wife. I'm glad you did it. She just went, my wife. Two really good friends of ours got married late last year, and the guy they're both big punny people, and the dude revealed to us afterwards that he had been, like, on pain of immediate divorce, forbidden from saying my wife at any point during the reception. He pulled it off. Richard. Hello, Richard. Richard. And that remember that tape about dinosaurs that we watched a million times when I was a kid? Richard was like one of the kids in the Hey Bowie. The kids are outside. That's what's going on. They just walked by. It is. Yep. But yeah, Richard was one of the kids in the class in that video, right? Richard. Yeah. This is another one of those things that I would love to share with the world, but I don't think it might be on YouTube. I think it has been at various times. I feel like it's on YouTube, but it's not the whole thing. There's like bits of it. Because I definitely had to, or I would have had to, if intellectual property law were not the most important and sacrosanct thing in our society, would have had to go to an illicit source to find a copy. Yes. Whoa, with your long, long spear. This is cool, too, because this is like such a callback to the approach to Vort. You know what I mean? So it's like this is a very full circle kind of thing. Back on the high wall. Ooh. Richard, just shut up. Oh, he's got is that the Grand Lance? Is the Grand Lance even a thing in this? Oh, you're right. Ah, Richard. Ouch. He is. Just spilled some coffee. Yeah, I just spilled some coffee. We're good. I think we're good. It was near a laptop, but I think we're fine. No, I probably need to help Lauren clean up. We can, and in fact I did, so I'll be right back. Place is getting a good thorough cleaning in a few days. Not a big deal. not where the ports are.
No, no, no.
That's the thing. Yeah. Okay, I might wash up and get back to this.
Yeah.
I was picturing it on the other corner so that like the USB drives we're gonna have to get soap and rice for 3 days.
Nope, not the case. Sorry, puppies. What is wrong with you? This one wasn't my fault, right?
I think not.
Well, this is just your dumb mother.
I will be a skate pony. I'm back. Oh, nice. You know what? I'm leaving all of that in. So I should say I've been putting these up completely unedited. Like, just it is what it is. Oh, nice. I love that. Sure. Yeah. Is your sign down, by the way? Okay. Cool. Cool, cool. Mm. We can do clips later, yeah, but I figure to be honest, it started as an experiment to see if it would come out okay. Like if if 5 minutes of silence, if it happens, is like a deal breaker. I don't think it probably is, but it's like it's part of the reason I do long form interviews on the podcast is because I like it and I want there to be more of it in the world. The other reason though is that it's something I can do without having to have a staff of editors, because like doing those like NPR style but then this next part of the story I asked about here just takes way 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 longer, you know. Totally. I think those are the two sides of the coin. I think maybe for game people specifically, like if there is a long hangouty podcast, it's more likely to be like streaming the game and talking over it, or just like a very kind of enthusiast press type podcast. Which is not to say it's a bad thing. It's just super different from what I want to do. I think if you're for the kinds of conversations I want to have, it's way more common to format it like Imaginary Worlds is a podcast by the dude Eric Malinsky who used to work for NPR, and it is very like edited and narrative, and it's great. But it's like it's very hard to do without it being your full time job and or you having a staff. Totally, yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally. We don't stretch it. I do frequently edit out. Oh, okay, so we're doing this. Um, I do frequently edit out stuff like, "Hey, do you need to go?" Whatever, but I don't edit out like, I really need 10 more minutes from you. Like I've never once said that. You know what I mean? Like I let them go as long as they need to. Because to your point, there are just things that someone's gonna say in a 30 minute or hour and a half interview that they're never gonna say in a 15-minute interview. which is a very common format for especially like games that aren't out yet. Like when I'm researching and looking for interviews that people have already done, it's very commonly like something from the show floor at PAX or whatever, where all the person had time to do through no fault of their own, and for that matter through no fault of the interviewers really, was to just like say their, do the elevator pitch for the game, basically read the press kit, which someone could just go read. Yeah, like if you want to read the press kit, you can. That's cool, but you don't need an interviewer to get that out in the world. It gets to be like access journalism. The New York Times. Like it's very important that we have a good relationship with the White House so we can quote what they say verbatim. It's like, well, you could just fucking read the press release or listen to the press secretary if that was the goal, man. You got to ask something else. Not that I'm a journalist and not that I'm saving, integritous journalism, but just the point is like there's things when you just let someone talk and allow it to be a little bit less structured that become possible that just aren't possible otherwise. You know what? The hell with it. No, I'm deciding that Gray Rat didn't exist in this version. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I will watch you do that. No, because Richard killed us, so the angels will be back. If you come around to the other side of the dome, you'll be in full view. But it's not the rooftop. It's the yeah totally yeah. What if I can see the spell effect from here? That would be super cool. Ooh, I see your health bar go. Ooh, we saw the important part. All right, you you got the internet some entertainment. That's for sure. What in the world were we talking about? Yeah. Oh, long form interviews and why they're cool. Yeah. But I mean, like honestly, like it is a thing I want there to be more of in the world. But it's also like one of the initial questions I asked myself was, what is a thing I can make consistently by myself if necessary? And it's like, besides the fact that it just takes more time to do one of those like NPR style narrative edited interviews, there's always stuff that gets cut out, and like maybe that ends up somewhere else or it's for the patrons or whatever. But the idea that doing way less work and potentially giving someone more or something more valuable, like that's a win. If there's a way to do that, that's probably worth doing. Oh, there's that red tearstone ring. Yeah. No, I didn't. I'm trying to remember where it is. You did, and I ignored them completely. That's what you meant, but yes, you did. You did say that. That's what you meant by double elevator. Oh, I remember this now. Mm-hmm. Hmm. That's the fundamental problem with yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, not for nothing is the new Sony Spider-Man game a Miles Morales game, right? Like it's the world is ready for different Spider-Man. Yeah. Honestly, the main reason I didn't play that previous Spider-Man game was I did slightly have Peter Parker fatigue. Where do I pick you up, by the way? I haven't. We'd have to go all the way around. The elevator. Oh, just right in front of the princess. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll rest and I'll go back. Right. Perfect. Yeah, I don't hate it, and it's it's cool because because we've been so light on NPCs this playthrough. Seeing the few that we did sort of bring along for the ride is always a cool little bonus. I too do not always enjoy media that Jay enjoys, so that is I do have that sinking feeling of like yeah oh sometimes yeah. Mm. Oh, I was about to ask if that was what was happening. Can we just take a minute for these sexy doors? So, we were talking about my love of doors and like this thing where there's actual like raised or recessed carvings into this is a real thing in the Renaissance and Baroque and everything. Um, yeah, this is really well done. Do we know what these are depicting? So that's referring to people who would tell the stories of miracles. I don't see anything angelic in the on the door anyway. That frieze above is interesting. I'm sure someone has like a scan where you can see it a little more clearly. Because the other thing is it's supposed to look like it's weathered and it's seen some shit, which is pretty cool in and of itself. Sure. Yeah. Well, we'll meet them Lothric boys in just a moment. They got themselves in a heap of trouble. Come back to Mask of the Phantasm for a second though. Like what? Mhm. Ah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that situation. Yeah, yeah. Because that situation. Sorry, I was gonna say that situation raises the interesting question of like, okay, I mean, Batman's been through some shit, but at a certain point, is he doing it to himself? Is he passing down the abuse? Is he repeating cycles voluntarily? Is he rejecting happiness on his own? Like, those are actually interesting questions that it doesn't sound like the text is super interested in. Right? Yeah. Let's talk about Peter Parker and Miles Morales while we also meet the two princes. I didn't mean to cut you off. Purloiner of cinders. It's a great turn of phrase. Yeah, it's like a little bit that trope of like what immortality would do to your sense of what matters. And it's also just like, yeah, just like another way of depicting like what does the end of things look like, you know? Ooh, he just appeared and smashed me with a fire sword. Oh, he did it again. That's what he likes to do. He stabbed me with it. I'm caught on a pillar. All right, bad start, but we got this. It's fine. So talk to me about Peter and Miles and how that fits in. Haven't watched those in years, but at the time I liked him a lot. Oh, oh yeah, I think it's pretty on point, right? Mm. Oh, sure. Because his we should say because having being a superhero and still having teenager problems was very much the hook of the comics originally, right? There's a sad sack aspect to it. Not a sad sack, but like the did he yeah he has problems that are relatable and normal and mundane and shitty to deal with. That is part of the appeal of Peter Parker. Being a superhero doesn't take that away from him. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And you're and you're talking specifically about Peter B. Parker. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, there are context clues that multiverse wise he is our Peter Parker. Yeah. Yeah. Just a wholesome relationship these two have. I love this performance. Who does that voice? Isn't Lothric the one in the back and Lorien is the big guy? Is that right? Yeah, well, I mean, I'm even Gwendolyn has a little bit of that. Like Gwendolyn is very powerful, but like but is like aberrant in a bodily way, right? That's not a great trope. Ooh, 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 I'm in a sliver, but I'm alive. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I died. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like in the same way that part of what's a little gross about Batman, at least some of the time, is that he's this billionaire who could be doing all sorts of shit for Gotham, and in some versions does, I guess. But one thing he always does is puts on a bat costume and beats up the poor and mentally ill. It gets less sympathetic the older he gets, right? And like Frank Miller famously called this out as a bad thing and then backpedaled, decided actually it was a great thing. But it's like there's a similar thing with Peter Parker, maybe not quite as politically charged, but like if he's a sad sack, like middle-aged white guy who's extremely successful, it starts to be less cute that we're supposed to feel sorry for him all the time. Yeah. Right, right. And of course, it's sucking for him is always other people taking on the suffering for him. Because the thing is, like, a big part of his motivation isn't just that his life is hard; it's that he feels guilty, right? Like, guilt is not a super common motivation for superheroes, right? But the idea that he feels responsible for Uncle Ben in some way, not fair to himself, right? But like that's part of his shtick. And the Gwen Stacy thing is, I guess, a step more complicated, but mm, right, right. It's a gross trope, but it's one that very much exists in the real world. I mean, like it's right. Right, right. Yeah, I didn't realize she took on a Carmelite nun vow when she became a public servant of some kind. Well, it's also like part of that stuff's also like generate like what we recognize as valid leisure and not like if it were golf, like that would be fine. Yeah, no, totally, totally. No, and like that gets used against. Wow, serious, really though. That gets used against young artists a lot in every medium. But I mean, we're playing a video game. Let's bring it up there, right? The idea that if you were passionate, you don't have to stay for extra hours, but if you were passionate, if you were really dedicated, then you wouldn't worry so much about like work-life balance or your family or dumb shit like that. You'd be like Batman. You'd be absolutely committed to the cause. Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is have you ever watched Shannon Strucci's videos about parasocial relationships? Really good YouTuber, has worked with H Bomber Guy. If you've ever seen the Scanline videos, there's like one about the history of VHS as a format. There's one about director's cuts. They're really good, but they're that's a collaboration between H Bomber Guy and Shannon Strucci. Uh, but uh, but their maybe most famous video or series of videos is called Fake Friends, and it's about like the concept of parasocial relationships. So like when you feel like you have a relationship with a media figure, usually who does not know you, and who you ultimately don't know either. She made like a really or they excuse me made a really good I think both are okay actually, but in any case, made a really good series of videos about that. And one of the sections in it is called Parasocial Hell, about just like the horror of being one of these people and living in constant fear of letting down your fan base and just feeling like you need to be on. Whoa, I got sniped. All right. Third time's the charm. Feeling the constant pressure to just perform and be available emotionally, otherwise, and what a drain that can be. You know. And to be clear, I'm not saying shed a tear for PewDiePie, but I'm saying in general, a lot of you know big streamer X, Y, or Z could be in hell in some aspect in terms of just it's sort of obvious what's unhealthy about a parasocial relationship for the person, for the audience side, right? But it's also kind of unhealthy for the other person to like have if you're streaming 6 days a week or whatever, your only social interaction is with people you don't know who are just a bottomless well of needs. It's pretty grim, yeah. Luckily, no one watches our streams, so we're not in any danger of that. We did it. We hacked it. Boop. But yeah, this idea of like absolute commitment is bullshit, and it's bullshit that's highly exploitable in a pretty specific way. I'm gonna actually see if there's another human. That might be fun, right? You know what? Nah, no. This is us. We haven't done it up until now. We're not doing it now. Been there, done that. That's the argument, right? Yeah, it's not that we need to trash the stuff that exists. It's that we can just be done telling that same story that same way again. Like at this point, like do anything else. you know, I mean, like if we're gonna return to form, then we should be tired of the new thing. Like you know what I mean? Like give us a chance to want that back. like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, some people instantly become tired of the new thing as soon as there is a new thing, but that's a whole other shebang. Hmm? This comes up in Lauren's world a lot because, like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, does there ever need to be? Do we need to bother reviving some of these old musicals if we're not going to do something different with them? If the cast is going to be all white, do we just need to do Music Man again? Like, does that need to happen? Is that adding something? And like, musicals are an interesting. Lauren is shaking her head vigorously, but like, musicals to me are an interesting case because like the movie of Music Man. Is there a movie of Music Man? Am I high? Let's. Yeah, there's a movie of Music Man. Um, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Stagnant. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Lauren is much more of a hardliner on this than I am. For just to be clear, right? Not that I'm throwing her under the bus. She's right here agreeing that she's a much more of a hardliner than I am. This is an interesting historical question, though. When was the first revival on Broadway? I don't know, and I will totally look that up. But you mentioned Shakespeare as a touch point, and that's probably exactly the correct touch point. Because I mean, why do we just do the same Shakespeare plays over and over? Because there aren't going to be more Shakespeare plays. There could be more Shakespeare style plays, but what Shakespeare wrote, and that's what we got. Musicals are kind of similar, right? They're just stopped being as much successful new work. The Golden Age, and for that matter, the Silver Age, and well, that's a bigger discussion. But you know, the heyday when musical theater was mainstream pop culture has come and gone. So that stuff is going to get revived. And like the reason that I'm a little bit less of a hardliner than Lauren is like the movie of Music Man, or for that matter, you know, like Gone with the Wind, whatever. It exists. There's absolutely no reason we need to remake it because you can go watch it. Musicals are not quite like that. Even if there was a movie, the movie, especially in those days, was pretty different generally. So, like, there is a certain argument that if you want people to have access to culture, and I do believe in that, like, you know, see the thing, like watch Birth of a Nation, see what was fucked up about it, you know, then what makes it more complicated with musicals is people have to do that, like, and not just once, but repeatedly. Like someone has to get up there and like if there's racist shit in it, then actors have to say racist shit 8 times a week. So it's just a little bit of a stickier wicket, you know. So then there's a lot of like revisionist revivals, I guess you'd call them, where there's almost two texts happening at once. There's the original text, which you are supposed to be enjoying, but then there's this like wink wink nudge nudge thing commenting on the text that unless you're intimately familiar with the original, you won't even understand. The new Oklahoma revival was very much like this. So it's just like it's probably pretty unintelligible to somebody who's not already invested, you know. I mean, yeah, Cannibal the Musical has a lot of direct Oklahoma stuff. Oklahoma is about. Wow, this is more complicated than I realized. Oklahoma is about. Well, okay. I mean, I'll say the snarky thing. Oklahoma's about Oklahoma. It's about like the Oklahoma Territory, and it was already like it was a ooh, there was an aspect, there was a sense in which it was a throwback when it was first out. That's important to understand, right? It was about a period of time that people were already nostalgic about, the closing of the territory and the American frontier and all that stuff. But it's mostly about a cowboy, and he wants to he has like there's like a you know a rom-com on again off again relationship between him and this girl Lori. But there's a bit of a there's a bit of a love triangle where this guy Judd also wants to take Lori to the box social. Is that what it is? Uh, yeah. There's like a bit. It's prom, whatever. They all want to go to a thing. Yeah, there's like picnic baskets, and it's like a weird auction thing,
Call them
like a
hampers.
debutante situation. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, they auction off dates with girls
they
based
auction
on
off
food
dates with girls
baskets.
based on the stuff they cooked in their baskets. That's what it is. Yeah. But it's also about like the farmers and the ranchers and the cow pokes rivalry, kind of. The farmer and the cowman should be friends is a big song. But it's like the tone, like musicals hadn't really figured out what they were. This is Rodgers and Hammerstein, right? This is like the team that made musicals a thing, or made musicals what we think of them as. And so like the tone is all the shit over the place. There's like really goofy comedy in it, but then Judd lives in like a pitch black shed with like porn tacked up all over the walls. There's this whole thing of like there's a whole subplot about this thing called the Little Wonder that's like a kaleidoscope with like a pornographic image in it, but then it has a blade in it to blind the person looking at it, and he's going to use it on Curly and like at the end Curly just fucking kills Judd. like um depending on how it's staged, like quasi self-defense or whatever, and then they hold like a weird kangaroo court trial and find him innocent because fuck that guy, and then everyone sings a song and it's over. So it's really weird, and like the new version like didn't change a word but like gave it really like harsh lighting. Like the house lights are up the whole time. It's like except when you're in Judd's little hole, when actually it actually is like basically pitch black. In other words, it kept the text the same, but it tried to stage it away where like Curly is covered in blood when he sings the last song, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's just it's got to be such a bizarre spectacle to someone who isn't intimately familiar with Oklahoma. And are they like, so did they add all this dark shit to make it edgy? Like, and the answer is yes, but only kinda. like, yeah, right. Right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like there's a sense in which I understand why people want to keep doing these things, because people want to keep seeing these things, and you do want to keep the form alive. But either you've got to just uncritically have the weird ending where Judd dies over and over with happy music, or you've got to over and over have the guy playing Curly wipe the blood off of his face after you do this bizarre revisionist version. Like either way, the actors have to do this thing that's rather intense in one way or another over and over and over and over and over. That's kind of unique to live theater. And I think maybe like, as an aside, we don't take seriously enough the effect that has on a person having to do that shit over and over. I mean, like a lot of these musicals, like a lot of media, use rape as kind of a lazy plot device. That's just something that kind of happens to the female lead. Um, the tr- the most yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, you bet your boots I did. The Bond movie thing. No, this is unambiguously, so the most common version of the trope. It is unambiguously rape, and in fact, it is very often a gang rape staged as a ballet. That is frequently the trope. This exists in Man of La Mancha, for example. This exists in The Rink, which is a really, really good Candor and Ebb show. I mean, arguably that part should maybe be changed. West Side Story. There's no like the rape is not completed in that, but it's like it's an assault, an attempted rape, right? Yeah, I mean, like these are The Rink is obscure, but West Side Story is not. So like, yeah, this is Man of La Mancha is not. So like, yeah, that's the most common version of the trope. Oops, I went down rather than up. Boy, this is just not going well. This is a hard fight. Um, I think of the princes as being the most HP Soki boss in this game. Is that unfair? Like it's not. The moveset is hard, but they also just take so many hits. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. it's justified by the text. The whole deal is that they keep coming back. So it's like the idea that they can. Right, 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 right. I mean, we're very very late game if we're talking about like the critical path right now. There's a lot more stuff in the game, but right, right. We are from two different worlds. So yeah, so all that to say, something that actors or the people who train actors or actors themselves too don't take seriously is like doing that over and over and over and over. Like it's hard enough to like people end up psychologically damaged by just like making a movie and working with a director who especially who thinks that shit's okay. Like David Ayer, who made Suicide Squad, apparently does not run a very safe set, and like they're people were really beating the shit out of each other sometimes, and apparently Joker, like Joaquin Phoenix really did like dislocate his knee or something or his ankle when he was kicking the dumpster, and and the and Lord of the Rings, right? Viggo Mortensen going, yeah, broke his foot, and it's I think people hear that and they think, oh my god, what commitment, and I think that's bullshit because what they should hear is, oh, fuck that director for not running a safe set, because like you see that scene in Joker and it's like, did this really, like, is this better because he hurt himself, like, really, like, if you're not going to be an edgelord about it, like, what did it gain from that? I don't know the story. Who got hurt on the Django set? Oh wow. Hmm. Was Brunhilde? Boy, I'm not sure. Hmm. Especially if they couldn't have possibly talked about that beforehand, so that's pretty fucked up. But yes, it is effective cinema. I mean, Tarantino is an interesting case. Yeah, yeah. Mm, right. Right, right. Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you're a good actor and not just a peacocking jackass, then you don't have to really think it's happening to do it. You can do it again because that's acting. Yeah, I mean Tarantino's an interesting case because there are definitely those moments. That's a really good example. Um, the other example I think of is the guitar thing in Hateful Eight, right, where they actually did destroy an irreplaceable vintage guitar, and he just like let it happen because Jennifer Jason Leigh was like, the look of horror she was giving is legitimately good cinema and makes perfect sense in the scene, but that's pretty fucked up. Like, so he's an interesting case because he's almost like the Steve Jobs of the thing we're talking about, where there actually are benefits to weigh against the drawbacks. Whereas, like, in the same way that like Steve Jobs was an asshole who created or was in charge of teams that created cool things, most people who worship Steve Jobs are just assholes and aren't creating anything worthwhile to justify it or even potentially justify it.
The only example I've heard that I liked was Danny Boyle on 127
Mm-hmm,
Hours.
mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good example. Yeah, yeah. So Lauren points out it can be okay if like,
It's safe.
yeah, and if it's a safe situation, and if it's an actor who's going to be who is game. So the her example was on 127 hours. Um, Danny Boyle, basically the prosthetic that James Franco cuts through in that scene should not have been possible to cut through. The plan was to switch it out for one after he like got filmed struggling for a while, But Danny Boyle didn't tell him that and just let him keep at it for how long? It was like hours. Yeah, yeah. And he did in fact cut through it. And the guy who made the prosthetics was like on set being like, "This, are you out of your mind? Do not do this." Like he cannot like he would have to be like, you know, like a mother lifting a car off of her child, like that level of adrenaline to have any chance of cutting through it. But he did. And you know, and like knowing that it's James Franco and that's, you know, that is the proudest moment of his life. And that he wasn't in any danger, right? Like they could have called it at any time. That one's a little bit more borderline, I suppose. Mm. Chiwetel Ejiofor or oh okay. Oh Michael Fassbender. Oh, Lupita Nyong'o. Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally. Right. Well, like, yeah. Steve McQueen makes movies about real shit and traumatic shit, and I feel like there's a reason that he gets Michael Fassbender's best performances out of him. You know, the fact that he takes that shit seriously makes sense to me. I hadn't heard that. That's really interesting. Because I mean, that movie, like, shit, like good lord, that movie. I think Movie Bob referred to it as a historical Saw movie. Like, just. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unreal. Way less flashy than the long shot. I mean, like the lynching scene is a very, very long take. I. It is perfectly reasonable for it to not be your favorite. Hoo-wee. You're so twitchy and you're so avaricious. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good stopping point. Yeah, I'm gonna light this fire. Baby, I can love it. But yeah, I mean, to bring it back to Batman, I suppose like that idea that like absolute commitment is a desirable outcome, and we were talking about the Thanos thing of like, well, my dad was an asshole, but I think deep down he really like all of this stuff is just like apologia for shitty abusive behavior. And like you can tell a story about shitty abusive behavior. I think that's a very valid thing to do, but you do want to be careful that the text isn't on the side of the abuser. Who said that? Was it? It wasn't James Baldwin. Damn, who was it? There was some author who was like, you know, I write about. It was Richard Wright. Like I write about I write about rape and violence and horror. I must be very careful not to be seen as being on the side of rape and violence and horror. You know. Yeah, it is an experience. I guess. Yeah, I guess my sorcery dude left. Got to look up if there's some way to get him back. I mean, I was boring, so that's on me. I think we have no basis on which to guess one way or the other. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the only thing we know about it besides the setting is that it's open world. So if it is, geez, man, my throat by the end of these sessions, I tell you what. Um, you're right. Could you pass me my coffee, love? You're a hero to the people, and by the people I mean me. Thank you. Um, let's get that endurance to 40. Why not? Let's do it. Yeah, all we know besides the setting is that it's open world. So if there is co-op, it would have to work pretty differently than it has in previous games, presumably, right? Like this kind of zone-based summon stuff wouldn't make a ton of sense in an open world game, unless it is sort of purely for bosses, I guess. So, do I place the ashes? Is that something I can do to finish us out here? Oh, that's true. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I got to place the thing on the throne, and the thing on the throne, and the thing on the throne. Cinders of the Lord. Now, I could have, of course, I should say for people who haven't played this game, I could have been doing this after we defeated each of the Lords of Cinder, Aldrich and the Farron Knights, and so forth. Ludlith is here because he shows up for work. He is a team player. Or should I say, Lord Slayer? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, he has some sense of duty, but it's also just like he doesn't have a better idea. So he, like the rest of these are either just like dead set against it, or they have their own purpose that to them supersedes their duty to link the fire. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Yeah. No, I mean, no, totally, totally. I mean, Ashen ones are in this weird state where they've tried and failed to do this before, right? So there's a sense in which like how are we different from a hollow? It's just in what the purpose is because we are definitely repeating the same action until we get it right, or maybe just eternally, regardless of whether we get it right or not. All right. Most worthy of lords. Might makes right. So this is cool too, because like we talked about the wedding imagery, we talked about Cirrus pledging herself to you as a knight. Like this is like kind of knighting imagery, right? Bend the knee and like you're getting accepted into an order, like yeah. Yeah, I guess we can watch this cutscene and that'll be the end of this sucker. That's Yorm's head, right? So that is interesting, right? Because like giants will have those void faces in Dark Souls too. Seeing him without his hood, we get confirmation that those are something like regular human skulls under there, albeit quite big. 2 and 3, you mean? I don't think there is a giant in one, right? That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's true. It's funny. I think of that as such a different giant, but you're completely right. Yeah, his face is also covered. That's true. Yeah. Well, there's also in the DLC area, there's the giant in the tower. Yes, that is true. I was thinking giants with a capital G as just the. Well, you'll see. The ones who fought in the war you haven't seen yet in Dark Souls 2. There's a lot of really understated stuff. Yeah. Right. Well, and even the flashy thing where you set yourself on fire and kindle the first flame, what you're actually doing is just now the world gets to exist as it does a little longer. Like there is that confluence of the yeah, yeah. If you don't link the fire, the primordial serpents sort of bow to you, and there's a chorus of them. But that's the closest you get because to your point, that's not like the parade at the end of the recut Return of the Jedi. That's like, wait a minute, how many of these creepy snake things are there, and is it good that I'm making them happy? Like, yeah. Well, so where the hell are we right now? Weren't we already in Firelink? This looks like Firelink. It said killing of the first flame. That's a thing from Dark Souls 1. What the fuck is happening? We'll talk about that next time. Could you do one more thing for me, love? Could you hit Alt Tab on that their keyboard? You're a hero. Well, I'm over here. Ooh, it's like cycling through these pretty crazily. Why is that? I don't know how to fix that. Dang. Something really weird is happening in my world. If I can just get to one button, though, we'll be fine. So anyway, Ashen Ones, thank you for hanging out. This was another long session. This was a good one. Yeah, we're gonna see what's going on with the world really ending, but like for real, next time. So, see you then. If you dare to go on a so doomed a quest. I didn't really think of what I was going to say there last time, which is appropriate, right? Because are they making things up as they go along at this point? Perhaps that's not for us to judge.